Sunlight streamed through the stained glass windows of St. Cecilia's, casting vibrant hues across the ancient stone walls. The interior was painted in a kaleidoscope of colors, each beam of light telling a story of its own, a silent hymn of beauty and grace. The air was thick with the scent of incense, a familiar aroma that whispered of peace and solace. It was a scent that carried memories, evoking a sense of calm and reflection. High above the altar, a plaster Christ hung upon the cross, his painted eyes seeming to follow the congregation below. His expression, a blend of suffering and compassion, offered a silent sermon to all who gazed upon him. Atop the confessional, a stone gargoyle kept silent watch, its weathered features frozen in a grotesque sneer. This ancient guardian, with its eerie presence, seemed to protect the sanctity of the space. On the opposite wall, a warrior angel, sculpted with wings spread wide, stood guard. Its presence was both imposing and reassuring, a symbol of divine protection and strength. The church was a sanctuary, a place where the weight of the world outside seemed to lessen, replaced by a sense of timeless serenity. Here, the troubles of daily life felt distant, and the soul could find respite. Rows of wooden pews, polished smooth by time and countless touches, awaited the faithful. Each pew held stories of devotion, whispered prayers, and moments of quiet contemplation. Each creak and groan of the aging structure seemed to whisper tales of joys and sorrows shared within its hallowed walls. The very fabric of the church seemed alive with the echoes of the past. St. Cecilia's was more than just a building. It was a living testament to the enduring power of faith, hope, and love. It stood as a beacon of light, guiding the weary and the lost towards a place of solace and reflection. The church, with its rich history and profound sense of peace, was a sanctuary for all who entered, offering a moment of respite from the chaos of the outside world.
Father Perez, his face etched with the wisdom of years spent shepherding his flock, stood at the pulpit. His presence exuded a calm authority, a testament to the countless sermons he had delivered over the decades. His voice, though soft-spoken, resonated with an unwavering conviction that held the congregation spellbound. Each word he uttered seemed to carry the weight of 1,000 unspoken truths, drawing the listeners into a shared moment of profound reflection. He spoke of sacrifice, not as a burden to be endured, but as a testament to the boundless capacity of the human heart for love. He illustrated this with stories from the scriptures, weaving in tales of ancient sacrifices that had shaped the course of history. True sacrifice, he intoned, his gaze sweeping across the assembled faces, springs not from obligation, but from the wellspring of love that resides within each of us. He emphasized that it is this love that gives our sacrifices meaning and purpose, transforming them into acts of profound beauty. His words, imbued with the weight of scripture and lived experience, seemed to hang in the air, prompting introspection and a quiet stirring of souls. The congregation, moved by his eloquence, found themselves reflecting on their own lives and the sacrifices they had made. He spoke of the sacrifices parents make for their children, the sleepless nights and endless worries, the unspoken hopes and dreams they hold for their offspring. He painted a vivid picture of the love that drives these sacrifices, a love that is both fierce and tender. The tireless efforts of those who dedicate their lives to the service of others, often without recognition or reward. He highlighted the quiet heroes among us, those who work behind the scenes to make the world a better place. The small, selfless acts of kindness that weave a tapestry of compassion in a world often shrouded in darkness. He spoke of the power of a kind word, a gentle touch, a simple gesture of goodwill, and how these small acts can have a ripple effect, spreading light and hope. Each word was a gentle reminder that true fulfillment lay not in the pursuit of self-gratification, but in the embrace of something far greater than oneself. He urged the congregation to look beyond their own desires and to find joy in the service of others, in the sacrifices they make out of love. As the sermon drew to a close, the church was filled with a profound sense of peace and purpose, a testament to the enduring power of Father Perez's words.
Mia, her eyes bright with amusement, nudged John playfully in the ribs. "He's talking about us, you know," she whispered mischievously, her words barely audible above the hushed murmur of the congregation.
John, startled momentarily from his reverie, turned to her with a questioning look. John, catching her eye, couldn't help but chuckle softly. "Maybe we should start practicing." Mia teased, her voice a husky whisper against the backdrop of hymns and prayers. John, shaking his head with mock seriousness, slipped his arm around her, pulling her close. "We've got plenty of time for sacrifice later," he murmured, his lips brushing against her hair. "For now, let's just enjoy the sermon."
The final hymn faded, replaced by the soft murmur of conversation as the congregation began to disperse.
John, slipping an arm around Mia's waist, steered her gently towards the exit. Outside, the California sunshine seemed to beckon, promising a day filled with possibilities. "Where to, my love?" John asked, holding Mia's gaze.
Her eyes sparkled with mischief. "How about a drive down Sunset Boulevard?" she suggested. "We could grab some burgers, soak up some sun, maybe even catch a movie."
John grinned, his heart warming at her easy smile. "Sounds like a plan," he agreed, leading her towards his vintage Mustang, its gleaming chrome a beacon of youthful energy.
As they pulled away from the curb, the strains of a Beach Boys song drifted from the car radio, the perfect soundtrack for a Sunday afternoon in 1970s Los Angeles.
The drive was a tapestry of sights and sounds, a living, breathing canvas of memories waiting to be painted. The vibrant energy of the city pulsing around them, each street and building telling its own story. They talked about everything and nothing, their words weaving a fabric of connection that only they could understand. Their conversation a comfortable rhythm of shared dreams, playful banter, and the occasional silence that spoke volumes. It was the unspoken language of two hearts beating in sync, a melody that only they could hear.
John, his gaze shifting momentarily from the road to Mia, felt a surge of love for this woman who had so effortlessly captured his heart. In that fleeting glance, he saw a lifetime of shared moments, a future filled with endless possibilities. He saw in her a kindred spirit, someone who embraced life with the same unbridled enthusiasm that he did. She was his best friend, his confidant, the one person who truly understood him, the missing piece that made his world complete, the one who brought color to his otherwise monochrome existence. Every moment with her was a treasure, every glance a reminder of how lucky he was.
Sensing his gaze, Mia turned to him, her eyes filled with a love that mirrored his own, a reflection of their shared journey. "What are you thinking about?" she asked softly, her voice a gentle caress. Her hand finding his, their fingers intertwining in a silent promise of forever.
"Just how lucky I am," John replied, his voice thick with emotion. "To have found you, to share my life with you." His words hung in the air, a testament to the depth of his feelings, a declaration of love that needed no further explanation.
They stopped for burgers at a classic drive-in, the air thick with the aroma of sizzling meat and French fries. As they ate, their conversation turned to Pete and Sharon. "I can't imagine what they're going through," Mia said softly, her brow furrowed with concern.
"I know," John agreed, his voice somber. "But they seem to be holding on. Their faith is strong, and they have a lot of support from the church community."
"We should invite them over for dinner soon," Mia suggested, her eyes lighting up. "It might do them good to get out of the house and spend some time with friends."
John nodded his agreement, his heart warming at Mia's thoughtfulness. They both knew that their friends were facing a long and difficult journey, but they were determined to be there for them, to offer whatever comfort and support they could.